Good afternoon, Agents for Learning. We are the Chicago teachers here representing our local chapter of Educators for Excellence. E4E is an organization that provides a platform for teachers to utilize their voice to organize and advocate for policy changes that affect our profession. Today, we are here to share our vision of how to honor teacher voice within PD.
We believe that every student in Chicago Public Schools should have access to a reflective, growth-oriented, and effective educator who understands student learning and can analyze student work and adjust their instructional strategies. We envision that this will occur via the direct result of implementation of choice model professional development clusters. Choice, or chapters of ongoing introspective collaborative educators, is a model designed by educators as a direct result of colleague feedback, research on adult learning, and our shared classroom experiences.
Our choice model is based on theories of adult learning that turn traditional concepts of professional development on their head. Instead of administrator-led, professional development should be teacher-led. Teachers want to become better at what they do, and they respect the process of collaboration. They like to hear from each other. Instead of assuming deficits in the teacher practice, we base our professional development on teacher strengths and give them space to reflect and share their best teaching ideas with each other. We believe that building teacher awareness of what they do is the key to quality professional learning. Because teachers are sharing best practices from their own classroom, teacher agency is embedded in our program.
So this is how we envision the Choice program. The chapter as a space would be like my own building where like-minded teachers meet during an ongoing weekly time slot that is already in place, such as a common planning period, with a shared commitment to be introspective educators who are flexible and open to constructive feedback. This requires collaborations from all. Number one, from administrators to relinquish control to educators, and for educators like myself to step out of my comfort zone and grow with colleagues. This will result in educators growing into teacher leaders by dissolving isolation, colleagues holding each other accountable to keep their commitment, and then we will be able to celebrate our achievements. This model will only succeed with support from the local and state levels.
To scale the choice model, we have recommendations for the state as well as the district. For the state, we recommend prioritizing Title II funds for districts that have already implemented this model. Additionally, we recommend the state to incentivize districts by creating partnerships with higher ed institutions for licensure credits. For the districts, we recommend districts to set aside a space and time each week for teachers to actually meet and collaborate. Further, we recommend the district to create a digital place, a digital platform, where teachers can collect and share student artifacts and best practices.
Thank you for your audience. We are excited about the new choice model, and we would love to connect with others that are as well.
Okay, first up, we'll hear from, Johanna, are you ready? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm a teacher. Yes, always ready. One of the things, and I guess it's not specific to this presentation, it's a theme that I keep hearing emerging, which I'm so proud of, is that we are all looking to tap into existing human capital. You know, we recognize that there are people with very different talents right in our building, and we need to begin to further utilize those talents. When you outlined the supporting ideas and how all those pieces work, I think in my mind I was trying to envision what that looked like. Like, you know, how would we budget in this reflective time? When will the observations take place? What will the feedback take place? And I know you can't really explain all of that in this model, but I'm thinking of in my building, like nobody has common planning time, like at the same time. So I guess just moving forward, just to have a couple different models in mind of what that looks like and how you do it, because I think it would be very easy when you're talking about a school of 200 or 300, but when you go into schools with 15 to 1,700 where people are sharing space and moving around, just to kind of help administrators understand what that looks like and how it'll work would be helpful moving forward.
Yeah, two quick things. I love the idea of the partnerships with higher ed. I'd like to hear more about that later on. First, I want to say I'm from Chicago, and I love Chicago teachers, so yay, Chicago teachers. Not that I don't love all of you, but the other thing is, you referenced in the beginning this research on adult learning. There's like a big, there's a lot of research going on now about the science of learning. A lot of it is on kids, but there's a lot of emerging research on adult learning, and I think any way you guys can pump that up, like you just said this, the research, even a sentence about what does the research say, I think could be really helpful, very strong case for what you're talking about.
Just a couple of things. Again, I loved your presentation also on another acronym, choice. And I really appreciated those three key elements that you pulled out of the ongoing, introspective, and collaboration. I think those are real critical foundation. The incentivizing funding, I think that's going to be really important and helps to build on that creativity. I also think, though, it would be important to convince me of the benefit to students. So again, think about student outcomes as a part of your presentation and what's that benefit. And I'm glad you added a digital platform because I do think that can expand choice.
I asked you guys if you came up with the acronym before or after you came up with the words, but you guys can tell me that later. I love that you put the expectations out there for all participants. Like that is missing from a lot of the conversations I hear about this, because the expectations for teachers often are clear, but they aren't often clear for everybody else in the system. So thank you for doing that. I loved your recommendation about prioritizing Title II funding, but then it left me with questions like, okay, so do we prioritize Title II funding for districts that are doing this or want to do this? Or if they've already started doing this, do they need that prioritized funding? So I think those are the follow-up questions you're going to get about how do you actually incentivize districts to take this on. So that's where I would go. Great presentation. Thank you.
Chicago teachers.